Hello and welcome to this video. We are once again going to have to talk, even though we've got this storm bearing down on us, we have to talk about things in the middle of the island because we're being ignored again, particularly by South Shore 12. They're all over the South Shore again. We're going to get to that in a moment. But before we show you them, we're going to talk about all the things that we're dealing with here in the middle of the island, obviously. And yeah, this is a typical scene in Mineola. Coming home the other night, you see in the center of your screen there. Mineola Boulevard deserted, and look at all those trash bags just put around these. You're supposed to. This is for pedestrians. You know, you throw your coffee cups in there, whatever. But you're not supposed to throw household waste in there. But because we have illegal aliens in the community now, they just dump their trash around there. So because they're in overcrowded homes. That is what we. This is what illegals have brought to Mineola. The other thing they've brought, of course, is this. This is what I get. This is what I get greeted with on my street. I mean, how much beer can you possibly drink? They drink like crazy. I mean, I dealt with the same thing in Westbury. So it's just another sign of them. And then if you're not dealing with that, well, you're dealing with the panhandling that you got to deal with going on. That like being harassed by this guy here who's a regular in Mineola. The police do nothing about him. He travels here from Hempstead to Panhandle, and so do a bunch of other people travel from Hempstead to here to Panhandle. But this is turning into an extension of Hempstead, slowly but surely. And we have businesses closing too. So we'll get to the latest business that failed. At least I think it did, and that is this pizzeria here, Nads. This is on Main Street. It says we are closed due to mechanical problems. This has been that. It says Happy New Year there on the sign. But what's interesting is if I go to their webpage here, Nads Pizza, and you see it says Nads Pizza, and they have a webpage here, Nads Pizza. Look what happens. It's parked free, courtesy of GoDaddy.com. So, what's going on here? Pizza menu. Visit website. There's no website here. Apparently they may have gone out of business already. They've only been open for a couple of months, but that's what's going on here. They've been closed for like a week already, and nothing on Yelp about them being closed. But let's see if Yelp has reported them being closed. Nope, it hasn't. But they are temporarily closed, at least according to their sign. But they haven't reopened yet. And this place, by the way, is on Main Street in Mineola. So if we go over here. Look at Main Street in Mineola. This very rundown street here. Right here. They are on this street right here. So we go up the street here, Main Street, where the burned out building is. Well, you go a little bit down the ways here, and this was DigiSlice. This has been so many different pizza places, and everyone that's tried to open has failed because this is a dead street. Nothing can survive here. It's really one of the deadest, seediest streets in Mineola, so I'm not surprised at all. So let's get to some of the news going on here, and that's Channel 12 has not reported on, and then we'll show you what they did report on a little later in this video here. Man tried to break into Mineola home. This was barely reported. The man could not get into the home and was arrested shortly after. Mineola, here we go. A homeless man was arrested after Nassau County Police said he tried to break into a Mineola home on Sunday night. This is exactly what we're dealing with here in Mineola. We've got homeless people running around our community, committing crime, and nothing is done about it. Terrence Fuse, 58, tried to open the front door of a Pennsylvania Avenue residence around 11:20 p.m. Surveillance video captured Fuse trying to get into the home, but he could not, and nothing was stolen. Officers found Fuse outside the 3rd Precinct Station House shortly after and placed him into custody. So somehow he wound up in front of the 3rd Precinct in Williston Park. Fuse was charged with second-degree burglary and is scheduled to be arraigned on Monday as First District Court and at 99 Main Street in Hempstead. She's probably just released or whatever. And then there's been Williston Park, too. Williston Park has made the news as well because we've had some crime in Williston Park as well. 2.4, this was barely barely covered by South Shore 12. 2.4K, that's $2,400, stolen from Williston Park Restaurant. A man walked into the Blue Wave restaurant and stole the money. A man burglarized the Williston Park restaurant on Monday morning. It is at 344 Hillside Avenue, and they entered through an unlocked back door. I don't know how you could leave the door unlocked. Maybe they were still open. I don't know. The man stole roughly $2,400 from inside before fleeing in an unknown direction, and he's still on the loose. So that's just some of the crime that's going on, but it gets worse than that, obviously, when we venture into other areas in the middle of the island. Now, we already know about that home invasion in Bethpage that South Shore 12 did cover. However, there are a bunch of other things that they didn't cover that really barely made the news at all. This, Franklin Square, commercial armed robbery. 4 suspects stole $2,000. This is a post from social media because it was barely covered on the news. And they were carrying silver guns as well. This is what businesses have to deal with here. And then we have this, too, that they didn't cover as well. Nobody's covered this so far. Armed robbery investigation is happening in Queens Village, but these could be the same suspects that hit that deli. All 4 suspects took off in a Hyundai, and then they said they also robbed the store in Douglaston, and then there was a search in Northeast Queens, and now they're on Fulton Avenue in Hempstead, tracked to the matching vehicle. Multiple lanes are blocked. Of course, nothing at all in the media about this at all. It's like we are in a complete dead zone, particularly central Nassau. This is like a dead zone. If you're in Mineola, Williston Park, Hempstead, Garden City, it's like a one big dead zone over here. All right. So we had that, and then let's get to some of the stuff listed on here because there was something else also that happened today. Burglary investigation in Floral Park. Around 8 p.m., 2 suspects were seen on one of the property, and neighbors. One victim was confronted, was assaulted. Both suspects, who were male Hispanics, took off on foot in an unknown direction. This is Floral Park, another town that's in the dead zone. So this is what's going on in the middle of the island, folks. It continues to get worse, and you wonder why businesses are closing here. They're getting robbed. People don't want to come. Everybody wants to be on the South Shore, it's not surprising when you see all this stuff going on. It really isn't. Let's see what else we got. Wanted for assault. That's probably in the city. That's the city. All right. Let's go over to the Daily Voice here. So we have that. Let's go to the Daily Voice. Maybe a few other things in here that we got to talk about here. Let's see what we got. Yes, this is the other story I wanted to talk about that barely got covered. Shots fired in Elmont. There's a shooting in Elmont. Not even covered on the news at all. Happened January 5th, 4:20 a.m. A witness near Bayless Avenue and Parkway Drive area heard gunshots. Police at the scene recovered 4 9mm shell casings. So, again, absolutely nothing in the TV media about that at all whatsoever. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Here we go with another incident of abusing a Long Island 14-year-old. This man here. Hempstead. So all this stuff's going on in the middle of the island. You notice that's the one common denominator that we have here is most of this is all going on in the middle of the island. While the South Shore, well, it's peachy keen, and if something does go wrong on the South Shore, it will get talked about, but not here. Nope. Not here in the dead zone that is the middle of the island. Like I said, nothing says dead zone like a scene like this. But that's the kind of scene you get in Mineola Boulevard. So let's now go and take a look and see what South Shore 12 covered, because they were all over the South Shore, once again, pretending like we didn't even exist.
How dangerous.
Yeah, and that's why we want to get right to our forecast with meteorologist Samantha Argiri.
So here we go, obviously talking about the storm.
Here on Long Island, but most of it will be happening in the evening and overnight. So in the morning when you step out, it is going to be dry. Clouds will thicken up quickly. 50 degrees. Look at that temperature. Most of the day, winds will be out of the south.
None of this is normal. Of course, she's not going to mention climate change. They're forbidden to talk about climate change.
Even gusting close to 60. So right now it is clear, it's cold, it's quiet.
All right, so we already know about the storm, and I've spoken about it already. But
Highway Superintendent Daniel Esquadro tells us that crews are clearing storm drains. He says that flooding.
They're going to be all over the South Shore, though. You're going to see that. You're going to see here.
We know there are many places across Long Island that are only a foot or 2 feet above sea level.
South Shore, of course.
Higher ground.
La Squadro says that crews will also be on standby.
Got to show those stocks. You can see they went big today.
He's asking you to do your part.
Despite the fact we're in a climate crisis, Wall Street doesn't. Wall Street isn't aware of that, and they don't really care. They just thumb their noses at the rest of us. Island Park, South Shore again.
Robocall in the morning, warning residents of the severe flood conditions he's expecting.
I think we're going to get a street flooding, and it usually means that water's going to come over the bulkhead.
Yep.
And of course, if it comes over the bulkhead, that's just problematic. And
how about investing in the middle of the island? No. It's just all about the South Shore.
Ready to respond to any emergencies. And PSEG says it's prepared to keep your power on. Crews will be on standby for tomorrow's storm.
Look, they've got a, now, I bet if that happened in the middle of the island, they probably wouldn't even cover it.
From off the island.
And if your power does go out, you can call PSEG's outage hotline, that number right on your screen, 1-800-490-0075. You can also text the word,
all right,
the latest for you. He was buried underneath soil after dirt collapsed into a hole in which he was
all right, they
working.
did cover this. This was on the North Shore, so
tragic update.
At least they did cover that.
Dark, muddy.
They covered that, but they haven't covered any of the crime we brought up.
Fireball, right in the middle of a busy.
And take a look at this. So
Kevin
there have been car fires.
For us all evening.
Oceans. You know, you can count. I bet you, if this happened in the middle of the island, if this following thing you're about to see happened in the middle of the island, they wouldn't even talk about it.
Well, a wild scene tonight as several cars went up in flames.
Yeah, 6 of them caught fire at an Oceanside shopping center today.
Does it happen in Oceanside, you know they're going to be all over it. If it happened in the middle of the island, they wouldn't even be talking about it. Guarantee it.
It looked like a fireball right in the middle of a busy parking lot.
We just saw lots of flames.
All about these
Feels like
people, man.
fireworks. Multiple vehicles went up in flames at the Sand Shopping Center on Long Beach Road in Oceanside.
My car's probably gone.
Eileen Benowitz ran out of the store to find her Acura being damaged by the inferno. The outside of her SUV was badly burned.
I saw that the car next to
Oh,
me
what's going on with all these fires lately? It was not an electric vehicle. It was not an electric vehicle.
Damaged in the fire. 4 were
But
completely
again,
destroyed,
all over that. Look at how much time they're spending on it.
Navarro's pickup truck.
For sure, that's sold on.
Around 50 firefighters from 3 departments responded. Thomas Cicero with the Oceanside Fire Department says nobody was hurt.
We're just lucky it wasn't topped by any buildings, and it took enough foam to put them out.
Thank God I'm alive, and it's only material.
And you can see what it looks like here right now. Several
So, yeah, they got a
burnt-out
reporter on
vehicles
scene
were
and
made
stuff.
at the scene, and a large portion of this parking lot is still shut down. Now, the exact cause of this fire still is not known. However, the Nassau Assistant Chief Fire Marshal did tell me no electric vehicles were involved.
So,
And
not an
tonight,
electric
Joe,
vehicle store.
Just a wild
So, now we're going to go to the South Shore again.
Latest there tonight. A 99-cent store employee stabbed in the face in Long Beach. Police say.
See, if crime happens on the South Shore, they'll talk about it, but if it happened in the middle of the island, they wouldn't even talk about it.
Family 99-cent
South Shore again.
East Park Avenue just before noon. Police tell us some kind of argument led up to the slashing. Neighbors tell us they're stunned.
It's horrible. I mean, I live right around the block. I mean, it's a total shock. I couldn't believe something like that.
Why don't you interview people in Mineola about homeless people rummaging through their homes? No, not going to do that.
The 4th time that a store employee has been attacked in Nassau since October. And a scare at a McDonald's drive-thru. Police say this patchogue man on your screen pointed
South
a fake
Shore
gun
again.
at a mother and her children. We're told it happened just before 10 o'clock.
Actually, no.
At the McDonald's on South Broadway.
It happened in the middle of the island.
Nicholas Carpenzano pointed what looked like a gun at the family after the mother honked at him. Well, the woman sped off and called 911.
Road rage.
He arrested Carpenzano about a half a mile away and found the fake gun in his car.
Look who's landed on
Look at this.
I'm Joe Arena.
And I'm Aaron Colton.
This is going to be awesome.
We can't wait to get started.
So,
Sip and savor local delights.
From farm to table favorites to
Look at her.
5-star culinary hotspots. Discover why this Long Island destination
Typical.
has become a haven for
wine enthusiasts, nature lovers, and the rich and famous alike.
Doug Geet used to have this show. Now it gears to the snobs now that he left.
Famous alike.
Don't miss your chance to explore the East End. Saturdays and Sundays at 9:30 a.m. only on the...
So there you go. Where local meets luxury. It's all geared to the snobs. So there you go. And another business. We'll end it with another business closing in the middle of the island in Farmingdale. This place here in Farmingdale only opened 1 year. Closed already. So people just... Everybody's on the South Shore. It's hard for anything to survive here. It's really depressing, you know. And especially here in Mineola, it's just... We are just truly the forgotten wasteland here. That's what we get at our train station. This is what we get on our streets. And everything is dead. If you want the life, well, you got to go down here to Rockville Center, where all the white finance professionals are, because this is the only group of people that really matter anymore on Long Island. The rest of us don't count, so they're the ones that run everything. They get everything. They get all the attention, and so, you know, you've got to go and live with them in their enclaves. But we all know that, well, they only want to be with their own kind. So that's what I'm up against. But I have to live with them. That's the only future I have here on Long Island. The rest of the island is basically declining very, very rapidly. We already saw what happened with how dead Roosevelt Field was. I mean, look at how dead it is here. I had to throw that in the video as well, because Roosevelt Field is not doing very well at all. So that's going to be it. Just another sign of life in the middle of the island. And I'm sure when the storm hits tomorrow night, we will be, or should I say later tonight by the time this video is up, it'll all be about these people on the South Shore. And, you know, we'll be sitting in the dark here in Mineola, completely forgotten, as we always are. So, thank you for watching.